Emily Carter stared at the faded key in her palm, the metal cold against her skin, like the emptiness in her chest. It had been 3 months since Tom's accident, that rainy night when his truck skidded off the highway into a ditch. The cops called it a tragic mishap, faulty brakes, they said. But Emily knew better. Tom had always been meticulous about his vehicles. He was a mechanic at heart, even after climbing the ranks at the auto parts factory in their small Ohio town. They'd been married 15 years. High school sweethearts turned into a couple, frayed by arguments and unspoken resentments. Tom worked late too often, came home smelling of cheap perfume once or twice. She pushed it down, focused on their life. The modest ranch house, the weekend barbecues, the dreams of kids that never came. Now, with Tom gone, the bills piled up like autumn leaves. The life insurance barely covered the funeral, and his will left her scraping by. Except for this, the old garage on the outskirts of town. A run-down shack he'd bought years ago for storage. Emily had never set foot inside. Tom always said it was his man cave full of junk and grease. "Nothing for you to worry about, Em," he grunt, locking it up tight. But the lawyer handed her the deed last week, saying it was hers now. What good was a dilapidated building? She figured she'd sell it for whatever scrap value it held. Maybe enough to pay off the credit cards. Driving out there that crisp fall morning, Emily's hands trembled on the wheel of her beat-up sedan. The garage squatted at the end of a gravel drive, overgrown with weeds, its corrugated metal roof sagging under years of neglect. Paint peeled from the doors like old skin, and a rusty padlock hung loose. She parked, took a deep breath, and inserted the key. The door creaked open, releasing a musty wave of dust and oil. Sunlight filtered through grimy windows, illuminating shelves crammed with tools, old tires, and cardboard boxes. It looked exactly as she'd imagined. A forgotten tomb of Tom's hobbies. Emily wandered in, her sneakers crunching on debris. Memories flooded her. Tom tinkering in their home garage, grease-streaked and smiling. But lately, those smiles had faded, replaced by secrecy. She kicked a box aside, revealing a workbench cluttered with papers. As she sifted through them, her fingers brushed something odd. A loose floorboard. Curiosity piqued. She pried it up. Beneath lay a metal box, locked, but with a key taped to the lid. Heart pounding, she opened it. Inside, stacks of cash, glittering jewelry, and a sealed envelope addressed to her in Tom's handwriting. "For Emily, if I'm gone." Her breath caught. What the hell had Tom been hiding? Emily's hands shook as she tore open the envelope, sinking onto a dusty stool amid the garage's clutter. The letter was dated 6 months ago. Tom's scrawl familiar, yet distant, like a voice from a dream. "Em, if you're reading this, something went wrong. I never meant for it to end like this. I screwed up bad, and I know you've suspected it. Yeah, there was someone else. Sarah Jenkins, from the office. It started as a fling, but she got her claws in deep. Blackmail threats. She knew about the side gigs I was running, the cash I stashed away. I was gonna leave her, come clean to you. This box is yours. $150,000, some jewels I fenced from a shady deal. Use it to start over. Forgive me. Love, Tom." Tears blurred the words, rage and grief twisting in her gut like a knife. Sarah Jenkins, that bleached blonde secretary who'd always smile too sweetly at company picnics. Emily had seen the glances, the late-night texts Tom dismissed as work. But blackmail? Side gigs? Tom had been living a double life right under her nose. She rifled through the box, counting the crisp bills, appraising the diamonds that sparkled mockingly. This wasn't junk, it was a fortune. But why hide it here, in this forgotten garage? Wiping her eyes, Emily explored further. Behind a stack of old engines, she noticed a false wall, plywood disguised as paneling. She shoved it aside, revealing a hidden room. Her jaw dropped. The space was pristine, lit by a single bulb. Workbenches lined with tools, filing cabinets, and a computer humming softly. On the desk sat more envelopes, photos, and a USB drive labeled proof. She plugged it into the laptop, Tom's old one, password protected but tracked easily with their anniversary date. Files popped up, emails, bank statements, recordings. Sarah wasn't just a mistress, she was a schemer. Transcripts showed her demanding money, threatening to expose Tom's embezzlement from the factory. He'd been skimming to fund their affair, but Sarah wanted more. Half the company, or she'd go to the cops. One audio clip chilled Emily. Sarah's voice, silky and venomous. "Fix those brakes yourself, Tom, or I'll make sure Emily knows everything. And if you cross me." The date matched the week before his accident. Emily's world spun. Tom's death wasn't an accident. Sarah had tampered with the truck, or forced him to. Revenge burned in her veins, hot and fierce. This garage wasn't a burden. It was ammunition. She pocketed the USB, locked the box, and vowed silently. Sarah would pay for shattering her life. Back home that evening, Emily paced her living room, the USB drive clutched like a talisman. The house felt emptier than ever. Echoes of Tom's laughter mocking her from the walls. She poured a glass of wine, hands still trembling, and inserted the drive into her computer. More files unfolded. Surveillance photos of Sarah meeting shady figures in parking lots. Bank transfers linking her to offshore accounts. Tom had been digging dirt on her too. Turns out Sarah had a history of conning men, leaving a trail of ruined lives from Cleveland to Chicago. One document detailed how she'd forged signatures to siphon funds from the factory, pinning it on Tom. Grief crashed over Emily in waves. How had she missed this? Their marriage wasn't perfect. Tom's temper flares, his wandering eye, but she'd loved him, flaws and all. Now, betrayal stung deeper than death. She cried until her throat ached, remembering the good times. Lazy Sundays in bed, road trips to the lake. But Sarah had poisoned it all, turning Tom into a puppet, then discarding him like trash. The accident report suddenly made sense. Brakes cut just enough to fail on that slick road. Emily's sorrow hardened into resolve. She couldn't go to the cops yet. Sarah's family had pulled in town, old money that bought favors. No, this called for something personal, a revenge that hit where it hurt. She spent hours poring over the evidence, piecing together Sarah's web. The mistress lived in a flashy condo downtown, funded by her scams. Emily found social media posts, Sarah flaunting vacations, jewelry that matched the stash in the garage. Tom had bought those for her, the bastard. By dawn, Emily had a plan forming. She'd play dumb, let Sarah think the garage was worthless. Rumors swirled that Sarah was contesting the will, claiming Tom promised her assets. Let her come sniffing. Emily drove back to the garage, securing the hidden room with a new lock. She inventoried everything. The cash for leverage, jewels as bait. Emotional exhaustion gave way to empowerment. This wasn't just about money. It was justice for Tom's stolen life, for her shattered heart. Calling an old friend, Mike from the factory, Emily probed subtly. "Heard anything about Sarah?" Mike hesitated, then spilled. Sarah was bragging about inheriting big, saying Tom left her everything. Fury ignited. Emily hung up, staring at a photo of her and Tom on their wedding day. "You owe me this," she whispered. Revenge wasn't sweet yet, but it would be. Emily spent the next week transforming. Mornings at the gym, sharing the weight of grief. Afternoons in the garage, organizing Tom's secrets into a dossier of doom. She hired a private investigator discreetly, paid in cash from the stash, to tail Sarah. Reports came back, Sarah lunching with lawyers, plotting to challenge the will. One photo showed her at a bar, flirting with another Mark, her laugh captured in pixels like a siren's call. Emily's stomach churned, but she channeled it into strategy. Emotional roller coasters hit hard. Nights brought dreams of Tom, alive and apologetic, only to wake in tears. She visited his grave, laying flowers and whispering accusations. Why hurt Tom? Why not fight for us? But answers lay in the evidence. Sarah's manipulation, her threats escalating to murder. The PI uncovered more. Sarah had a record expunged fraud charges from her 20s. With Tom's files, it painted a picture of a serial predator. Revenge brewed methodically. Emily created fake emails from an anonymous account, teasing Sarah with hints of Tom's hidden wealth. He left clues in the garage. "Come see," Sarah bit, showing up one evening in her red convertible, heels clicking on the gravel. Emily watched from the shadows, heart racing. Sarah jimmied the door, clearly had a spare key from Tom, and rummaged inside. Emily stepped out, voice steady. "Looking for something?" Sarah spun, feigning surprise. "Emily!" Tom said I could store stuff here." Her eyes darted, calculating. Emily smiled coldly. "Like the jewels he bought you? Or the cash from his scams?" Sarah paled. "What are you talking about?" Emily pulled out a folder. Proof, blackmail, embezzlement, and the breaks. Audio of you threatening him. Panic flashed in Sarah's eyes. She lunged for the folder, but Emily dodged. "Get out, or I call the cops." Sarah sneered. "You wouldn't. Tom's gone. It's my word against yours." But doubt crept in. Emily let her leave, knowing the seed was planted. Back inside, she copied everything to a cloud drive, sent tips to the DA anonymously. Emotional catharsis came in waves. Revenge wasn't just destruction. It was reclaiming her power. Friends noticed the change. "You're glowing, Em," her sister said over coffee. Emily shrugged. "Just moving on." But inside, fire burned. She sold a few jewels quietly, funding a lawyer to solidify her claim. Sarah's world would crumble soon. Arrests, scandals. Tom's ghost lingered, but Emily felt alive, plotting the final blow with precision. The confrontation came on a stormy afternoon, thunder rumbling like Emily's pent-up rage. She'd lured Sarah back to the garage with a text from a burner phone. "Meet me here. We split the stash, or I expose you." Sarah arrived wary, umbrella shielding her designer coat. Emily waited inside, the hidden room's door ajar. Evidence spread on the workbench like a prosecutor's dream. "You think you can blackmail me?" Sarah hissed, stepping in. Water dripped from her hair, mirroring the tears Emily had shed. "Tom loved me more than you ever knew." Emily laughed bitterly. "Love? You killed him for money." She played the audio clip, Sarah's voice echoing. "Fix those brakes." Sarah's face drained of color. "That's fabricated." Emily circled her, voice low and venomous. "The PI has footage of you near his truck that night. Bank records show you hiring a mechanic with shady ties." "It's over, Sarah. The DA has everything. Anonymous tip, but traceable to you." Sarah lunged again, but Emily was ready, shoving her back. You took my husband, my life. Now I take yours. Panic turned to please. Please, Emily, we can share. Tom wanted me to have it. But Emily saw the monster beneath, cold, calculating. She dialed 911 on speaker. There's an intruder in my garage. Sarah bolted, but cops were waiting outside, tipped off by Emily. Handcuffs clicked. Sarah screamed denials as they dragged her away. In the aftermath, justice rolled swift. Charges piled up: manslaughter, fraud, extortion. The trial made local news. Emily testified calmly, tears genuine as she recounted the betrayal. Sarah got 20 years. Her empire shattered. Emily sold the garage's contents legally, pocketing millions after taxes. She paid off debts, bought a cozy cabin by the lake, started a foundation for widows scammed by predators. Emotionally, closure came slowly. She forgave Tom in time, scattering his ashes with a whispered, "Rest easy." Revenge healed the wounds, turning grief into strength. Friends marveled at her resilience. She dated again, cautiously, finding joy in simple things. The garage, once a symbol of neglect, became her rebirth. Years later, Emily drove past the sold property, smiling. No more secrets, no more pain. She'd walked into that rundown shack broken, but emerged unbreakable, a testament to the fire within every betrayed heart. Thank you so much for watching this story till the end. I hope you enjoyed it and maybe even learned something from it. If you'd like to hear more stories like this, full of life lessons, drama, and emotions, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you'll never miss an update. Your support means the world, and it helps me keep bringing you more inspiring and unforgettable stories. Stay tuned because more amazing stories are on the way.